Yeah, you said before that you can't coach chaos. What the hell do you mean by that?
Because managers think coaching is something that comes from their opinion. The problem is that, especially in sophisticated environments, we're coaching people that also have experience and have an opinion. I mean, it's a different case when you're leading or managing entry level folks. But even, I mean, my experience with entry level folks, they don't just come in and think, oh, this is my first job. I don't know anything, so I'm just going to listen to my manager. I mean, you would think. I'd like to believe that I was that humble in my first job, but the truth is, when I think back, I remember one time, like I was a bagger at a grocery store, and I was in my teens, and hair was a big deal, and I did my hair when I had it, and I showed up, and they were like, "Hey, I want you to wear this." It was like a visor. So I had to put this visor down. It was the 80s, so my hair was like this, but then the visor crunched, and I felt stupid. Like I worked for 4 hours, I felt stupid, and I literally left for lunch and never went back. Terrible move, right? Like I ghosted, like in the 80s, right? And so, as humble as I'd like to believe that I would be, I wasn't. So even entry level workers, they come in with expectations, they come in with an opinion. And so managers, when they're leading from opinion, which is this is what I think, this is what I believe, you're coaching, but we all know that the receiver is 100% in control of whether they receive that coaching as productive or discard it as unproductive. So when we set expectations, meaning we say, hey, thank you for coming on board. Here is our written down way of working. It has to be written down or nobody's going to take it serious. Okay. Like you can't casually say, this is how we work, because one, if you are casually saying this is how we work, this is not how everybody works. Okay. But if you write it down and you go over it, and there's key steps to setting the expectations, right? Our ways of working are written down before you get here. So it's not an afterthought. It looks like it's been around a while. It's mature. So they're written down. And then I don't just send it to you and say, read it, because then I really don't know. Did you read it? Did you not read it? Did you scan it? Because do I really want you to read it, or do I want you to study it and apply? It took me a long time to realize that I had to be that specific. Hey, I would like you to study and apply. But even when I send it and say study and apply, we didn't go over it together. So what I've learned is it's got to be written down. You sit with that individual and you literally read it together and talk about it. Ask them if they have any questions. Now you have alignment. They know what that instruction says. You know that every single word of it has been read, because I show and tell. Like I will read it out loud. You guys know this.
Right.
Like, everybody says that when you become a manager, it's because you were a good doer, but there's nowhere to go to learn how to be a good manager. Yes, they started teaching us in kindergarten with show and tell. Okay, so I show and tell. Let's go over it together. We've read it together. We've talked about it together. There's been time for questions. Now I can coach. I can coach because they're then going to do something.
In that show and tell, is it the tell your takeaway too, right? Like, so I'm showing you, you read it together. Now tell me what your takeaway is, right? Like,
right.
that
What are your
feedback
immediate next
loop.
steps?
Yeah.
How are you going to apply this? How are you going to use this? Right. So we've got alignment and clear expectations. This is written down. I went over it with you. I need you to follow it. This is our way of working. So now I can observe what they do. If they do something completely different from the document, I could say, hey, I saw what you did. It looks like you're choosing to do something different than the document. Why? And then I can listen. And then I can say, okay, but I would need a secret decoder card to interpret the success of every individual on my team if you guys all did things differently. So this is why I need you to do it the way that we do it. Sure, you're the subject matter expert, but our ways of working are defined. How you solve that problem, you're going to bring the experience in. I do expect you to vet it with me, right? Because we're in it together. Like, autonomy is you coming up with the idea, you owning the problem and coming up with the idea, but then you executing that idea in a silo. If it goes south, my butt's on the line too. So I need you to come vet it with me. And when we both think it's a good idea, high five, we're in it together. That's teamwork. I've got your back, right? And then the other scenario is like, let's say they do something and it looks like I can see they're trying to adopt the way of working that I've gone over with them that's written down. And now I can have even a much more productive conversation, because it's not about them. It's about alignment between what are written down ways of working and their action. And and more importantly, the outcome. Hey, this is how we do it. This is what you did. This is the outcome you got. This is the outcome we need. And so I'm not really coaching the human being. It's not critical of them. I'm coaching the process that we are aligned on and that we're reviewing. Like, there's no coach of a professional sports team that's trying to coach without a playbook. Their coaching always references better practices that they've taught and gone over and run the plays on. And therefore, they're coaching against predefined criteria. And that's what I mean by you can't coach chaos. The
Right. Yeah.
criteria has to be clearly defined, written down, reviewed, acknowledged, and now that becomes my basis for coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. Let's talk about that playbook, if you will, right? Like having that playbook that you coach against, or even a game plan, right? Like a team will have like where the game plan might change situationally. So when you talk about written expectations here, tease out some of these use cases on where and how this looks like.
It's everything that you just said. It's situationally where we might agree to something and then it's got to be coached. But there's three basics. There's our ways of working. They have to be written down, reviewed, and then I can coach against it. Then there is the things that we're working on. They have to be defined, meaning we have to clearly define how the things we're asking our team to work on will measurably improve one or all three of the
Right.
three pillars. So we'll measurably improve customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction, and profitability, none at the expense of the other. And by clearly defined, I mean, when I read this document to people, when I refer to this document to people, it's so clear it paints a picture in their head. They can literally see what done looks like in their head. And by the way, I mean everybody involved, because they all have to have the same picture in their head for them to collaborate and get the outcome that we need, right? So really clear, vivid picture. I'm going to give props to Cameron Harold right there for the vivid picture. Anyway, so that's the second thing that's got to be written down. And then I as a leader, I'm going to coach to that. I see what you're doing, but I'm struggling to understand how that's going to move us toward our goal. Because I know what our goal is. You know what our goal is. If I ask you what our goal is, you can describe it to me as clearly as I can describe it to you. But I must be missing something because I don't understand how this activity is going to get us there. And that allows us to engage in a conversation, right? Where we can get aligned. And maybe I'm providing coaching, or maybe they can actually help fill in what I might be missing so I can see how that action is going to get them there, right? So this collaboration will lead to alignment and clear expectations, whether there's any coaching involved or not. And then the third is the plan, right? So when it's a project, there's a plan, there's a elaborate plan with good estimates. It's documented. It's clear. We've gone over it. There was a collaboration in the development of how the work is going to be done, because as a leader, I'm the subject matter expert of leadership, right? But my team members are maybe going to be the subject matter experts of plumbing or framing or electrical if we're building a house, so to speak. And so I'm going to go to them and say, hey, here's the plans. Let's identify all the tasks that need to get done. And I'm going to challenge to make sure I agree with how they're defining these tasks, to make sure I understand how it will effectively give us the house that we mean to build. We both agree that the approach that we've laid out on these tasks will work. We have this plan. And now again, I'm coaching to the plan. Hey, today we said we were going to be doing this, or we said we were going to be doing that, but you're doing this. Help me understand. Oh, well, we encountered a problem. Okay, great. How are we solving that problem? Okay, I see how solving that problem gets us back on track. So we have this plan that we can manage to, AKA coach to. And then in operational situations, because people are like, well, I'm just doing my daily work. It's operational. Okay, but you still make a plan, whether you're meeting daily to say, hey, these are the things that we're going to accomplish today. Like in a restaurant situation, they literally have a stand up with the staff before the beginning of their shift. They all go stand outside. I don't know if you've ever seen that, right? And so they're having a meeting. Now, in a perfect world, notes get sent from that meeting, and the things that the team committed to getting that done that day go in a task log. So operational teams are meeting maybe daily to define what they're going to do in the next 24 hours, or weekly to define what's going to be true at the end of the week. But those then get documented in meeting notes, get documented in a task log, and then they can be followed up on. Nobody has to remember what it is they committed to doing, because there is a documented plan that the leader and even the other team members, right? Because somebody's got to do something as an input to somebody else's got to do something's output, right? So the other team members can be like, hey, how's that thing I'm waiting for going? Because we as a team have a plan. So those are the three basic levels of setting expectation. That's our ways of working, how the work we are working on will clearly improve, right? So what done will clearly improve one or all three of the three pillars, what done looks like. And then last, what's the plan for accomplishing those objectives? Then from there, to your point, there's meetings. And in those meetings, what are we doing in meetings? We're figuring out how to advance our objectives, or we're working together as opposed to a meeting. We're working in a doing. We're working together to advance our objectives. And in those cases, we are focusing on something. We identify how to take the next baby step. We agree on who's going to take that baby step, how we're going to take that baby step. Those things go out in meeting notes into a task log. And then those can all be coached too. And that's literally how we set clear expectations. If it's not written down, it's not clear. If it hasn't been reviewed, not separately, but together, because how do teams win? They win on the field by playing the game at the same time. How do they advance objectives, right? So it's got to be reviewed by the team members and the leader, right? And then the leader has to observe. There's got to be a feedback loop where the leader can decide, is this going good? Great. Good job, guys. Do we need to course correct? Hey, I don't understand how this is going to work. I think we might need to course correct. Let's talk about it. And then if either one of these are true, the third thing is I need to be able to lead up. I need to go to the team that I'm a part of as opposed to the team I'm leading. I need to be able to go to the team that I'm a part of and say, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing about it, and have my leader decide, does it seem like we're making the progress we need to be making? Do we need to course? And then they need to be able to report to their team of teams. And this is how we set clear expectation and enable the team and the team of teams.
All right, Jade, so just to recap, layer 1, expectations for how we work. Layer 2, expectations for what we deliver. Layer 3, expectations for the plan to get there.
Yeah, Zoom high five.